welcome to the Mobile UX Marathon, a series of weekly webinars on how to improve your user experience and conversion rates on mobile web. Today's webinar title is How to Get Started with Google Optimize. We also added some helpful resources at the end of the deck, and you will find the deck on the website. Please share your questions with us on the UX Marathon website and join us for live streams later to get your answers or if you need to know more information. The website also has more information about the upcoming live streams, resources, and decks. Where to find the link to our website? The link is in the video description. Before we begin, I like to introduce myself. My name is Maja. I work in Google London, and I'm Senior Solution Consultant for the Google Marketing Platform. What that means is I help our clients get the most out of their Google Analytics and how to get the best out of their website by using Google Optimize as their testing platforms. Today, I will be talking you through how to get started with Google Optimize. Before we get started with Google Optimize, we have to get started with the A/B testing culture. As a first step, I would recommend you to start simple and try testing small things as you're getting started. As a first test, you will probably not choose to test how your website overall is performing, but you will try one feature, one button, maybe a hero image in the slider. If that one proves successful, or even not successful, you will be able to get some informed decisions on where to go next. And every single test afterwards, you will be able to prove incremental value of the things you previously changed. As we know, in this day and age, websites are not built as a revolution, meaning that you go from one experience to another, but rather as an evolution. So you start by changing small things, and in the end, in the long run, you have as a result your website which is better performing and is tailored to your customers. But what does it mean prove incremental value? Start with just changing the headline. Maybe the users are not converting as much as you like because the first thing they see is not by their liking. Or maybe the image is not as appealing as you thought. Or maybe the call to action is not exactly what you think it will work. As a small anecdote, I will tell you what got me into A/B testing. We had a website that was doing a sweepstake for a reward of 100 euros. My intuitive thinking was that a button win 100 euros will get users to convert. But after doing A/B testing, it actually proved that a button start is much more intuitive than actually putting win 100 euros to the clients. And probably the most important thing for all of you who don't have a dedicated team in your company that is exclusively set for testing, you should find an easy-to-use solution. What does an easy-to-use solution mean? It means that you can deploy tests relatively fast, that you can choose the audience that you're tailoring your experience to, that you can measure the impact, and that you can quick and fast launch the changes that you have done on your website. This is why in Google we've built Google Optimize. It's intended to grow your business with custom site experiences for your most important customers. Let's dive a bit deeper on what that means. With Google Analytics, you are probably already measuring how your website is performing. You have set your measurement plan to reflect your business goals, and you are actually measuring what everybody is doing on your website. With Google Analytics, you can create audiences. Audiences mean that you segment a subset of your website visitors by the specific characteristics they have. If you use Google Ads, you probably target some of these audiences being prospects to come to your website. But you don't do anything actionable with your site visitors who are prospects to convert. Here is where Google Optimize comes into place. With a sophisticated set of targeting, including audience targeting, you can use Google Optimize to deliver compelling and custom site experiences and turn your site visitors into converters or customers. What does that mean in detail? Google Optimize has a few functionalities. As an A/B testing tool, it has to provide us multiple ways on experimentation and personalization on your website. The first type of experiments that you can do with Google Optimize are just simply A/B testing, MVT or multivariate testing experience, or redirect tests. With experiments, Optimize help you test an idea on your site and see if it improves your growth KPIs or your business goals, whatever suits your flavor. A/B tests mean that you will create a variant or multiple variants of your website and serve it to your users to see which one is performing better. A/B tests usually entail one change per variant. Multivariate tests, on the other hand, are a much more complex version of A/B tests. Here is where you change multiple things on your website and use Google Optimize to test every single combination of those changes and see how it's performing on your websites. Redirect tests are for the ones who like to control things on their own site. If you code out a specific version of your website and you host it on your own domain, you can use redirect feature to serve experiments to your customers, meaning that a user that lands on your website will be redirected to your own specific experience you coded out. As a value for Optimize, we have integration with Google Ads. So what that means is that you can test landing page variation based on ad clicks. There are multiple testing tools on ads to see how ads are performing one against each other. This is not one of them. This is intended for search ads with the users with the intent for you to serve them a specific variation of your website, landing page optimization. Let's say you are running a travel agency. You are doing a campaign for trips to New York. You don't want your users to land on a generic website that say travel to London, Paris, or New York. You probably want to optimize their experience from the click of an ad for travel to New York for them on a landing page that says travel to New York with 10% off. By using native integration between Google Ads and Optimize, you can target on a keyword, ad group, or account level in Google Ads. The third type of experiences that you can create in Optimize is personalization. What that means is that you will tailor an experience for your valuable customers that will be always on. Let's say you have a subset of users who are specifically interested in red shoes. You want to segment those customers and you always want to serve them red shoes. Personalization can mean a various range of changes on the website. Personalizations come in forms such as once you log in, they tell you, hello and welcome back, Maja. That's also a type of personalization. With Google Optimize, you can create multiple rules on the audiences which see a certain experiences. You can also measure how your personalization is doing and use that in your Google Analytics. So let's see what is needed to get started in testing with Google Optimize. Here you can see Google Optimize interface. It's very intuitive and easy to use. And to successfully get started, you need to fulfill 3 things. First one is to create a variant. Second one is to determine on what is your objective. What is the metric that you want to improve? Here, Google Optimize uses native integration with Google Analytics, so you can choose your own pre-existing Google Analytics goals, default metrics, or create your own custom metric based on Google Analytics data. And the third thing is to set up targeting. That means that you need to decide on when will your experiment fire and who will see your experiment. In step 1, to doing changes in the variant, Optimize has the visual editor. Visual editor exposes your website design, and it's simple and easy to use as you would use Google Docs. So you can just select a text and type in a new one. For those of you who are more tech savvy, there is also a code editor where you can code out HTML, JS, and CSS changes. But with Google Optimize, we give you the opportunity to be your own designer. Just use the visual editor and save the changes. Of course, doing changes is not an easy thing. You probably need to get a sign-off from your manager, from your CMO, or CTO. That's why Google Optimize allows you to preview and QA your experiments. You can easily share your experiment variant with others and simulate the experience across different devices and to different people. Simply share a link and they will be able to see the experiment. Second step is measurement. You have to select your experiment goals. What that means is that you need to decide what is going to be the success metric of your experiment. For example, if you want to increase sales, you will probably choose transactions. So your primary objective will probably be transactions. As previously mentioned, you can easily choose an objective from your analytics data, which is pre-existing. Also, you can add secondary objectives. That means that if you choose transaction, maybe you want to keep an eye on the revenue, because not always more transactions mean more revenue. So Optimize will look at all of those objectives for you and report on the improvements or non-improvements for each one of them. Also, you can create Optimize specific goals for your specific test. There are, for example, a certain number of pages on the website, a certain number of visits to a specific page, time on site, or the events that you have already pre-prepared in your Google Analytics. You can target specific audiences. Step 3, as we said, is targeting. We also here use Google Analytics information, which means that everything that is available in Google Analytics, you can use to target an experiment too. For example, a very simple targeting rule is URL. You have to decide on where on your website this experiment will fire. But you can also use Google Analytics Audiences. Google Analytics Audiences is a 360 only feature, so you would have to have an upgraded version of Google Optimize. But there is much more targeting options in Google Optimize than just Google Analytics Audiences. We use GA behavior, geotechnology to target experiments, but also you can get creative by using other means of targeting. For example, JavaScript variable. One client of mine used a JavaScript variable to target their experiment specifically to fire between 9 to 5 when their call center is live. Why would they waste their experiment sessions when they actually don't have anything to experiment on? You can also use query parameters. I would guess that a lot of you have their campaigns targeted by UTM parameters. So Optimize can recognize the UTM parameters in the URL and fire the experiment based on the query parameter match. Of course, as already mentioned, you can target Google Ads traffic. This is specifically useful if you're doing landing page optimization for a specific search campaign. Now we come to the fun stuff, reporting. Google Optimize will find your winner and show you intuitive reporting. Google Optimize uses Bayesian statistics to calculate and model your data. So that means that we will not only tell you which variant is performing better, but we will also tell you by how much. So we will not tell you variant A is performing better. We will tell you that improvement, if you deploy that variant, will be between, let's say, 15% and 30%. We also tell you additional metrics, which give you the probabilities to be best and to be baseline. More about optimized metrics in an upcoming video about reporting and Bayesian statistics. All of the data that Optimize uses is collected through analytics, and it's analyzed in Optimize proprietary model to determine winners. And because we use Google Analytics data and are natively integrated with Google Analytics, you can also use Google Analytics reports to perform more robust analysis and segmentation. Optimized Bayesian statistics quickly shows meaningful reporting. The most common question I hear about doing A/B testing is, how much traffic do I need to get a really reliable result? Optimize's Bayesian statistic does not need a certain amount of traffic. We measure consistency of conversion rate. If the consistency of the conversion rate is good, we can call a winner with a small amount of data. And again, with Google Analytics, you can go deeper into the full impact of your customer journeys and segment experiment data, apply that to any Google Analytics report you usually use. To recap, why using Google Optimize? Firstly, it's a unified product with offering of A/B testing, multivariate testing, redirect testing, and deploying personalized experiences. There is consistent measurement with Google Analytics, meaning that you don't have to do a complex integration to get data flowing in and out of Google Analytics. It's simple as 2 clicks to do the integration. We also offer powerful targeting capabilities, not only based on Google Analytics data, but also on JavaScript, data layer, or cookie values. And in the end, all of this comprises into ease of use. Optimize is super easy to use for everyone on their technical level scale, from people who have never done a coding in their life to people who are super tech savvy and do coding for a living. To see more resources, you can check out Think with Google, where we publish our case studies. Google Optimize Help Center is a really good resource to learn how to get started and explore some advanced tips and tricks, troubleshooting, and frequently asked questions. If you're still struggling to get started, there is a Get Started with Optimize playlist published by our Analytics Academy. Here you can find the link on video guide for getting started. Once you've mastered getting started, there is also a quick tips playlist, which will give you advanced tips and tricks on how to use Optimize. In the live stream, we will be covering case studies and questions on how to do A/B testing with Google Optimize. Make sure you join us in the live stream, and I'm sure you'll find something of your own suiting. Thank you very much.